Okay, so welcome. Um, so there you go. I'm Mariana, the teacher for IGCSE biology on behalf of Delmox Learning. So today really is about is more of a Q&A and for you to get to know if this course is suitable for you and hopefully you'll be on board um to start in September. Do you both want to just tell me roughly why you want to do the IGCSE, why you have this interest?
Well, I've always been interested in animals and biology,
Yeah,
and
so the animals,
I probably want
okay.
to at some point maybe go to university and do zoology. So yeah,
Okay, great. So you've got a long time plan ahead.
yeah, and
Brilliant.
I love
Yeah,
bird watching and things like that. Yeah, so yeah,
yeah, brilliant. So that's a lovely fit for you. And Jason,
Mm, Um, I don't know. Yeah.
you just want to go for it. No worries. Okay. So just like a brief background about myself. Obviously I am a biology teacher. Um, but yes, I'm obviously a teacher as well. So I have a bachelor's degree in biology, and then I went on to do a postgrad in public health, and then I sort of had this career change, and now I'm back in well, I'm in teaching now, and I do that full time, and I do this as well on the side. So hopefully you'll have lots of questions. It seems like you do anyway. So in terms of the course breakdown, we're going to follow the examination board Pearson Edexcel International. So as you know, we're doing the IGCSE, so the International GCSE. Um, it's 32 weeks long during term time, and the timetables are on the Delmox Learning website. And what that consists of is 1 hour of a Zoom class. And I'll be doing that every Thursday at 10. And that's UK time. Can I just check you're both in the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're both in the UK. Brilliant. I have had international students before, so it's UK time. And our first lesson will be on Thursday, the 11th of September. Okay. And so it's 1 hour of essentially similar to what I'm doing now. We're actually going to do a mock class together. But it will be 1 hour on Zoom. And then what we'll be doing is I'll be sending out a Google Classroom link, and that's where you'll have all my material. So the slides that I'll be going through. And then I'll also be setting homework there, and I'll be setting 1 hour's worth of, I've got self-study here, but it's essentially homework on a weekly basis. Okay, roughly 1 hour. You may creep it up a little bit closer to the exam. And you'll be setting different tasks in between. It's roughly about 5 tasks for your homework. So that will consist of your independent study. And out of those tasks, there's one piece of work that will be marked individually by myself. So what you'll be doing is you'll be getting your homework and you'll be if you're not familiar with Google Classroom, you can just look at a basic YouTube video. There's plenty out there, and I'm happy to share some. Um, you'll be submitting your homework online, and then I'll be giving comments on there, but that will be for one piece of homework, and I'll explain why. And then lastly, I've got here that we're following the spec, obviously, Pearson Edexcel International. If you're interested, I'm happy to show you in a moment as well. And I've got here um, essentially, my lessons are quite interactive. So if you notice, I'm asking quite a lot of questions, and that's really to keep you engaged. So you're not just listening to me for 1 hour speaking, it will be interactive. And the way I do that is you'll see in a bit as well that I'll be doing MCQ questions, so you'll be tested um, throughout the lesson. And yeah, it's more of a teacher and student, there's more of an interaction there. Do you have any questions so far, David and
no,
Jason? We're okay. Sounds good. Okay, good. Um, And then here, I've just got here, this is the spec. And I highly recommend that you kind of have a flick through that before you start the course, so you're familiar with what we're going to cover. So this is the basis of what we're going to be covering. And just to let you know, you may be aware already, so there's 2 papers that that consist of, like, for you to qualify with the IGCSE biology. Now, I've said that the course is 32 weeks, and I'll be teaching, assuming that you will be taking the exam in May or and June. Roughly, it's May and June. The dates will be out soon. But if you could let me know, that doesn't always have to be the case. So last year, the cohort that I had, there was several students that said, actually, I want to do 1 more year. So I think what I'd recommend is in September, assuming that you'll be joining, if you could let me know by December if you're you want to take the IGCSE by May 2026, June, let me know. And then that will help me in the way I devise your work for you. Yeah. So there's paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1, okay, makes up the majority of your GCSE, and so that's roughly about 60%. And then paper 2 makes up about 40%. Okay, and they're based on 5 modules that you will see on your spec. Do stop me, boys, if you've got any questions, or if you want to write anything in the chat, that's fine. But you're most welcome to just let me know. And then if you're interested in the GCSE sort of in double award with the other 2 subjects, I mean, I only teach biology, but I know Domox provides the other 2 as well. So if you do paper 1 of all 3, that qualifies you for the international GCSE in science. But the beauty about this course is that paper 1 and paper 2 cover all 5 modules. So you will be prepared for those 5 modules in this IGCSE, regardless of what you decide to do. But my recommendation is, by the time you get to December, just make up your mind, really, if you want to do it in this year, in this academic year, or, like I mentioned, some of my cohort, we do have January exams as well. The board provides January exams. So you might decide, oh, actually, I might not need another year, but I could do half a year and do it next year as well. Yeah? Okay. So that's the basis of that. And then in terms of resources, this is my recommended book list. So before starting the course, I recommend this. And I recommend these because this is what I'll be using to set your homework. And I've got them in front of me as well, but my screen is blurred. But I'll just point here. So these 2 books, can you see my cursor, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these 2 books, so remember I said 1 piece of work will be marked. I'll give you individualized pieces of work. These 2 books, so the 10-minute test one, that's a lot of it is MCQs, and you've got short answer questions. So you'll definitely get a piece from here and here as well. So these 2 pieces, from these 2 books, you'll be self-marking. Now, what that means is at the back of the book, there are answers. You need to work through that by yourself and then go back and mark, and then upload that on the Google Classroom, because that's our platform. And so I still need to see. So even though you're still marking it, I still need to see your work. And then we've got this revision guide, which you can go through. And then the sort of chunkier book here is this one here. Okay, and this is where you could do things like pre-reading before your lesson. I'll be setting reading from that as well. And then in terms of the higher grades, if you're aiming for the 8s and the 9s, I recommend this book. And alongside that, you might be wondering, what piece then am I going to be marking? I will be exposing you to exam questions quite early on. So where you've got the longer answers, that's where I'll be putting most of my input in providing that feedback. Yeah. Okay, so that's one, two, yeah, 4 books. And then the exam questions I will provide myself for you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Shall we start with our mock lesson? Are we ready, boys?
Yep.
Do we have you sort of come across biology before, or terms, or have you done any of the other sciences before?
Yeah, I've come across biology before, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Jason?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Some things. Okay.
Some things, yeah.
Okay, so this is actually part of one of my lessons, but it's sort of a mock trial to let you know what my lessons are like. So be ready for questions, but as I said, it's just a trial. Don't feel like you're under pressure. So yeah, and yeah, I encourage you to be honest. If you think, oh, you know what, I don't understand, just let me know. Okay? Brilliant. So our first topic is actually from module 1. And I've got here 2.1. It'll make sense when you go through your spec, and it's on cell and their organization. And I chose this because really is a foundational concept in biology, and just knowing this. And I always tell my students that biology is like we're building layers on layers. It's like an onion. And once you've got the foundational concept, you can expand that idea, and really is fascinating. Okay, so cell organization. One of the basic sort of concepts out there is understanding the hierarchy of how we go from a cell to a whole organism. So these diagrams here, they're actually my hand-drawn drawings. And how we go from that. So understanding this hierarchy, how do we all human beings came from one cell. Yeah, and how then does that hierarchy work? How does it happen? We'll learn about that in September. So here we've got a cell, and I've drawn here a very basic animal cell. Now in biology, we consider ourselves animal. Funny concept, but we belong to the animal kingdom. Okay. And does anybody know what our species is called?
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens, exactly. So Homo sapiens, we've got an animal cell, brilliant. Okay, and so when cells they divide, and usually this happens in human beings through reproduction, you get tissues, okay, and various tissues can then slowly, as you go down this flowchart here, we're becoming more and more specialized, more and more specific. And we've got 2 types of tissues here, and I've got them pointing to 2 organs. This first one is an epithelial tissue, okay? So could be from our skin, and then it can develop into organs like the lungs. And here, we've got it pointing to a heart. So what type of tissue do you think that might be? Jason, both of you, Jason, do you want to have a go?
I don't know.
So I said this is lung tissue. What might this be?
It's heart tissue, like cardiac tissue, something like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
brilliant. And I like the way you've been specific, cardiac tissue.
Yeah.
Cardiac tissue. So they look quite different, don't they? This one we say looks more stretched out. It's striated, it's got striated fibers in that tissue. All of that came from one single cell once upon a time. Okay. And then we've got in between, you can't quite see as clearly, but we've got these intercalated discs. Okay. And this allows electrical current to pass through. Cardiac tissue is very specialized, one of the most specialized tissues in our body. And then together we've got our lungs, and we've got an organ. Okay, so we're going cells, tissue, organ, and we've got an organ system. Now, the human body consists of about 7 organ systems, and I've just linked the ones that are here. So respiratory system, which organs do we think it's associated with? We could use the ones that are on the slide.
Or the lungs.
Lungs, well done.
Yeah.
It's not that it means that lungs is the only one. Definitely the lungs. And the circulatory system, Jason?
Heart.
Heart, yeah, exactly. Circulatory consists of our blood, our heart, and so forth. And I've got another example here just to let you know that there isn't just two. And then together we make up a whole organism. So here we've got a human being. Now this hierarchy, this cell organization is also true. We have something similar for plants, but I've chosen to speak about humans here, as humans are a bit more complex. Okay. But plants have got tissues, have got organs, organ system, and whole organisms. Not quite as complex, but there as well. Good, brilliant. If there's any questions, do stop me in between. I think you're doing great there. So I said that there's cells here, like that's the cells. Well, cells are considered the basic units of life, and that's a basic sort of definition for that. But is it the first? Is there anything earlier? And the answer is yes. If you look at this inside the cell, we can see all these different parts. And these different parts is what we call organelles. Okay, you may have come across them before, but we'll just go through them as well. Don't worry too much about this term. I'll tell you roughly what this means. And just to give you a heads up, boys, there will be MCQs and I'll give you a countdown for that. So, yeah. So if you've got any questions, let me know. So the organelles of a basic animal cell, when assuming it's a human cell, we've got cytoplasm, mitochondria, nucleus. That nucleus is probably one of the most important organelles. And this nucleus is in the nucleus that we have our DNA. Who's come across the term DNA before? Yeah, our genetic material.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. Every single cell in our body has got a nucleus, with the exception of a few that are specialized. And so every single cell has got unique DNA that is specific to us and like nobody else in this world. And then we've got endoplasmic reticulum, vacuoles, and cell membranes. I'm not going to go into details of these organelles, but just to give you a background as to the organelles and cells. So actually, if we go back to here, we technically have organelles before cells. Yeah. And so what does this term eukaryote mean? So I've got this diagram here to break it down for you. You will be required to know what they are. So all living organisms can be divided into two groups as per biology. There's something called eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Okay, we'll start with eukaryotes. And from the term from Greek and Latin, the term EU means within. And karyote means that they are carrying something. And what they are carrying within themselves are membrane-bound organelles. Okay, they are carrying membrane-bound organelles. That's what the term eukaryote means. And it makes sense. If we go back here, they've got membrane-bound, they've got entities within themselves. Okay, and that. And so what do we call eukaryotes? They are animals, plants, and fungi. Okay. These four groups here are the four main living organisms that exist on Earth. Okay. Animals, as I said, we're assuming humans are animals as well. We've got plants and fungi. Okay. So those are eukaryotic cells. Now, the second group here I've got is prokaryotic cells. EU meaning eukaryotic cell. And I should have added there as well. All or most eukaryotic cells, okay, are multicellular organisms. Multicellular. What do you think that might mean? Multi.
They've got more than one cell.
Exactly, more than one cell. And we know that that's true for us because we're all organisms. We've got organ system, organs, tissues. Okay, so we're multicellular organs. The same goes for plants, with the exception there are some fungal cells that are single-celled. Okay, the majority of time, eukaryotic cells are multicellular, prokaryotic cells are single-celled, they're unicellular. And the one that you need to know for your GCSE is bacteria. We consider all bacteria to be prokaryotic cells. Any questions before we move on to our MCQs?
No.
Are we all confident? Okay. What I want you to do, boys, is I've got a question coming up. I'll read it out. I'll give you the options A, B, C, or D. On a count of three, you are going to tell me the letter that you think is the correct answer in the chat box. Yeah, thumbs up. We okay? Okay, so my first question. So you really needed to pay attention. Multicellular organism include, is it A, eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms, B, a single-celled organism, C, plants and animals, or D, all of the above? Can I see your answer, please, in your chat box in 3? You're just giving me one letter, A, B, C, or D. 2 and 1. Just wait till it comes up. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, I've got one. Jason, did you give me an answer?
Yeah.
What was your answer? Can't see it here.
C.
It was C. Okay, we both think C. Let's have a look. Yay, brilliant. Can someone tell me why is it not? And this is a really good way, and this is why I like using MCQs, especially when we introduce new concepts. Why is it not A? And that's one of the things. That's a really good tip to help you, rule out why is it not A, David?
Because bacteria are single-celled and they're prokaryotes.
They're prokaryotes, exactly. And single cell doesn't make sense. Could it be all of the above? No. Good. Next question. Okay. Which of the following shows the hierarchy of a cell organization of organisms from the simplest to the most complex? You need to think about the flow chart. Is it A, B, C, or D? I'll give you a minute for this. Okay, just so that you can read it through. And then I'll do another countdown and I want you to put the answer in the chat box. Okay, 1 minute, go. Thirty seconds. Oh yeah, I think there's someone joining in. Can you hear me? Hi, you're welcome to unmute yourself. Hiya. So we started this session, so we're midway through, but when we finish this question, I'm happy to take questions from you. Hello there. Hiya. Okay. Okay, boys, do you want to tell me your MCQ, your answer to your MCQ now? So just to give you some background, I'm not sure what your name is. We're doing sort of a mock lesson as to what my lesson might look like in September. Yeah. Okay. I can't quite hear. I don't know if you're saying you might need to unmute yourself. Okay, boys, have you got an answer? 3, 2. Is it in the chat? I can't see it in the chat.
It is now.
Brilliant. Okay, so we have got Jason.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Did you see the message?
You think it's C. That's okay if we think we've got different answers.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
mine's right.
So the answer is A.
Yeah.
And David, you got that. Organelle, cells, tissues, organs, organ system. Technically, C would not be correct, and that's fine. Tissues come after cells. Okay, tissues make up cells. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? We all okay? Brilliant. Okay, just last couple of slides now. And again, it's on cell organization. Okay, I've sort of talked you through it, but what does it mean? Okay, if we start off with the organelle, it's beyond the cell, the basic unit of life, basic unit of all living organisms. An organelle is a specialized unit within a cell that performs a specific function. So if we go back to the nucleus, which is the example that I used, contains genetic information, okay? And that genetic information has a specific function. It codes things like our characteristic from the very color of our eyes to the color of our hair, okay? To the very sort of proteins that it can make in our body and so forth. So very crucial, very specialized function, specific function. A cell, again, is what we consider the basic unit of living organisms. Okay, and it consists of all of these organelles inside. And in eukaryotics, we've got membrane-bound organelles. Okay, and these cells make up tissues, and they're groups of cells. If you go back to my slide here on tissues, they're groups of cells. Okay, and they have a shared function. So if we go back to here, someone remind me, Jason and David, nice to meet you there. Not sure what your name is, but we've just started with our class. Do you feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself if you want to?
Yeah, sorry. I was late. I didn't know I had a court today. I'm called Valentin, but you can call me Vali. And
Vali.
I'm 13.
Okay.
And I'm actually French, but I learned English.
Oh, brilliant. I can speak a little bit of French. Nice. Vali. Okay. We'll carry on with the lesson, Vali, and don't feel if you feel a little bit lost, that's fine. This is a recorded session. So hopefully this recording will be made available to you. So the things that you missed, you can go back. Okay. So going back here to my tissue here, David and Jason. Tissues, group of cells that have a shared function. Function just means it has a job. What do we think the function of this cardiac tissue is? Jason, David? Found in the heart.
Well, it makes up the heart, but yeah,
Yeah, what does the heart do?
it pumps blood around the body.
Exactly. So it's a shared function. It helps blood to be pumped around the body, and also it helps pass on electrical impulses. If you remember earlier on, I spoke about these discs that are in between. Brilliant. That was a challenging question. So let's move on. Tissues and then organs, they are a group of different tissues working together with a specific function. Like our heart pumps blood so that it can provide oxygen to every single cell around our body. And then we've got an organ system. And we've got about 7 organ systems. Again, do you remember the name of an organ system? If we just take the heart, for example, what would be the organ system that the heart belongs to? Jason? Give you a clue, it begins with C.
Circulatory.
Circulatory. Well done. Okay, and last, we've got one more MCQ before that. Now, another thing that you need to know is the comparison between plant and animal cells. Remember, we consider them to be eukaryotic cells. They are membrane bound, both of them. Okay? Now, these organelles in the middle are the ones that they share together. And this is from the same textbook. I know it's blurred out, but that's the same textbook that this diagram comes from. Okay, so we've got cytoplasms. Both of them means they have cytoplasm, cell membrane, mitochondria, nucleus, ribosome. Okay, and these are the organelles. So apart from chloroplast, vacuole, cell wall, these do animal cell does not have. Okay. So bearing that in mind, I'll just leave it up there for a moment for the next question to come up. So remember, there's three there that the animal cell does not have. So chloroplast, vacuole, and plant cell. Okay. So the question is coming up in 3, 2, 1. The last question here. Which one of the following statements is true? Both plant and animal cells contain chloroplast. Only animal cells have a cell wall. Plant cells have a cell wall made up of cellulose, while animal cells do not have a cell wall. Only plant cells contain mitochondria. I'll give you a minute. Valley, you're most welcome to try this if you as well. As I've done before, I'd like the answer to be in your chat. Okay, so I'll give you a minute just to think about that, and then you can submit your answer. Okay, boys, I'm going to ask you to submit your answers now. Okay, if we could do that all at the same time, that'd be great. A, B, C, or D? One response. Two. Okay, let's have a look. So, we've got C, C, and D. Oh, okay, have you changed your mind, Jason? Okay, we've all got these. So both plant and animal cells contain chloroplast. Only animal cells have a cell wall. Plant cells have a cell wall made up, whilst do not have a cell wall. And the answer is C. Well done. Okay. Now, as I've done before, I'm going to pick one of these options. I'm going to ask you to explain why that's not true. Only plant cells contain mitochondria. Why is that not true? Open to all of you. David?
Well-
Only plant cells contain mitochondria.
Well, animal cells also contain mitochondria.
Yeah, it's in the middle here. And actually, mitochondria is a vital organ. It's the site of respiration. And respiration is one of those processes that class you as a living organism. Okay, so it's through respiration that we convert oxygen into carbon dioxide and water. Yeah, oxygen and glucose. Yeah, but we'll go into more detail. And then my last slide here is with cell biology, microscopy, which is the study of organisms using microscopes, has been sort of revolutionary in understanding cell biology, this fundamental foundational concept we've just spoken about today. And the human eye can see, the smallest that I can see is the 10th of a milliliter, which is 0.1 milliliters. And that's roughly how big like one of your red blood cells is. Tiny, tiny. Beyond that, we can't see. We don't have that capacity to do so. And that's where microscopes come in. Okay, and here you can see eukaryotic, prokaryotic cells that we spoke about. And through microscopy, we've been able to identify all sorts of, we've been able to identify that even, cells exist and organelles exist, and actually this whole hierarchy that we spoke about. And the term cell comes from famous scientist, you can call him the father of cell biology, called Robert Hooke. What he did, he looked under the first ever microscope, under the microscope, he looked at some tissue and he saw that they were very uniform, and you could just about see the nucleus as well. And he thought to himself, this looks like, because they're in uniform, this looks like prison cells. Okay, because prison cells are uniform, okay, they're quite rectangular at that time as well, in that century. And that's where you get the term cell from. Pretty cool. Okay, so I think I'm sort of done for now. Do you have any more questions, boys?
No.
Are you okay? Are you excited for September? Yeah. Well, if you're interested, if you have any more questions, you can contact me through Dumux Learning. And Vali, I know you've joined as well. If you have any questions, do let me know. Okay. All right then. So I'm really looking forward to September. I'm hopefully seeing you all there. All the best, and yeah, see you then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.